Hi, I'm Darno with Way Living Recipes, and today I'm going to be making strawberry cocoa butter bars using the Ninja Prestige XL air fryer and oven. And so I'm going to show you how to do that, mostly with the dehydration of the strawberries. The rest is really just kind of melting the cocoa butter and kind of getting that all mixed in. But really, this is really a lot of dehydration of strawberries, but to also show you a good end product that you can make that's pretty tasty. And so let's get cooking right now. All right, so what I have here are 2 pounds of strawberries that have been sliced very thin. I'm using the dehydrator kit. I've got a full video here on the channel of how to use the dehydration kit and get it all set up. But it is in place with all the strawberries. And so now I'm going to go ahead and close up, and I'm going to turn it on, and we're going to go to dehydrate. So I'm going down to the dehydrate function, and I'm going to set the time to 4 hours. So I'm going down to 4 hours, and I'm going to leave it at the 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to hit the 2-layer button. You most definitely want to make sure that you hit the 2-layer button when you're doing your dehydration. And it's saying that I should have things on racks 2 and 4. I've got things I think on like 1 and 3. So I'm going to try and just see if I don't know if the kit will work on rack 4, but let's see if I can get it up there. Yeah, so it'll work on 2 and 4. So let's get this one out. This one's a little tight. Alright, got that out. So I used the wrong rack levels. It's been a while since I used the kit for a big dehydration. So anyway, we got them on 2 and 4. We've got 4 hours, 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And so with that, we hit start, and we're going to let things dehydrate for a while. Alright, so 3 hours of dehydration has finished, and I'm just going to open up. We'll turn it off and then open up. What you see inside, things, you know, at 150 aren't too hot for me to kind of touch. This one's a little easy to pull out, but I'm going to take a rack off and show you. That's how they look. It is a little, you know, it's a little hot. I can hold it for a moment. So now that they've dehydrated, I'm going to use like a spatula, just kind of get them all off. And once I get them all off, and I've also got to melt the cocoa butter. So I'm going to get that melted, I'm going to get these off, and then I'll show you the next steps to make them into like candy bars. I just want to show any of you who are trying to get anything that you dehydrate that gets very stuck into the grates off of the grate. You basically can take something that has like a very sharp kind of point to it, and you can just kind of poke. I've got them turned over like upside down so that I can just kind of poke on this, and as I poke on it, eventually the ones that are easier to come off, if they're poked on, they're going to pop right off. The other ones will be kind of harder to get off, but still, as you poke, you can get most of the dehydrated fruit off. I know some people like to use parchment paper and other things, but if you just prefer, like I do, to just keep them on the grate as is, then this is how you can get them off. They won't necessarily all be whole pieces, but still at the same time, for this, I don't need them to be whole pieces, and this is an easier way to get them off if they get really stuck. After you do this method, you can use like a spatula or something and kind of scrape them off that way, but usually if they're really stuck, the spatula won't do it, but this will always do it, to just kind of poke on the backside until you get them all off. So I'm just getting them off. Alright, so what I've done, the full 2 pounds of dehydrated strawberries, I've basically spread them out inside of like silicone bar holders, bar molds. And the reason why I just spread them out like this is because if I put those into the mixture, then not only they're going to hydrate, which is going to make things harder to start drying by having them hydrate more by having a mixture, but also I wouldn't get as even a distribution of the strawberries on each bar if I had them in a mixture and I was trying to pour the mixture out and trying to get them even. So spreading them out helps with that. But what I have here, this is a mixture of 12 ounces of cocoa butter and a quarter cup of raw honey and a teaspoon of organic monk fruit extract powder. That's about the equivalent of 3 tablespoons of a granulated sweetener, but organic monk fruit extract powder has a much lower glycemic impact, and a very little bit of that goes a very long way. So that's what I've got mixed here in the pan. And so I'm going to try and pour it out into each of these, and Lord willing it'll be enough. So got to pour carefully because I'm trying not to have things like spill, you know what I mean? Alright, so it looks like I got all of them filled, and I've still got maybe about 4 ounces of extra, so maybe I would have been able to get away with maybe just doing maybe 10 to 8 ounces of cocoa butter in the mixture. But I wanted to make sure that I had more than enough or enough and not too little, because I've done this before and had too little, and of course that's not any fun. So I'm going to basically get a pan, try and carefully transfer these to the pan, and then try to carefully get these into the fridge, because they need to basically get really cold in the fridge. So I'm going to get these basically in the fridge and let them sit there until they harden. They'll probably take less than an hour. The cocoa butter usually hardens up pretty quick, but I'll let them sit in the fridge for a little bit and we'll see what happens from there. Alright, so what I did, I let them sit here for almost 30 minutes, but they never started to really harden at all. Last time I did a batch, they did start to harden a bit sitting there, but these didn't at all. And so what I did, I took the drip tray from the Ninja and I just slightly slid them onto that drip tray, and then got them to the fridge and just slid them off of that drip tray onto the shelf in the fridge. And the reason I use that drip tray is because it's very low. I didn't have to go far to just kind of slide things right over onto the drip tray. And once they were in the fridge, about 15 minutes, and bam, they're all hard. So what I want to do now, I'm just going to take one and just put it out here on the plate so we can just see how one looks. So just getting this off here like that. Comes out nice and easy. And you see the strawberry cocoa butter bar, and you can tell me what you think of that. And I've got, 6 more that I can, put away for later. I'm not going to eat this whole one now, but we will do a taste test now with this one. So thank God for this new candy bar, and let's go ahead and do a quick taste. Okay, it tastes pretty decent, and the strawberries are pretty chewy. They're dehydrated. They got a little bit of moisture from the cocoa butter, but they're kind of give it like a chewy kind of texture chewing it. But it turned out pretty good. And so you can make this with whatever fruit you want. I do caution you that you need to dehydrate the fruit, because if you use not dehydrated fruit, fresh fruit, without dehydrating it, the bars will never get hard. And you'll just have these wet, soggy bars that are a mess. And I can tell you that from experience. So make sure you dehydrate whatever fruit you want to use. You can use whatever you prefer. As far as the mixture for the bars, you can use whatever mixture you prefer to sweeten things. If you want to put some like cocoa powder in there and kind of make them more chocolatey, you can do that. I will say with cocoa powder, you probably want to use a ratio of a small amount of baking soda with that, because the acidity from the cocoa powder might cause you a little indigestion if you don't, but that's just a tip that I found. And so basically it turns out decent. You can do it however you want, and I hope that this gives you some inspiration and ideas too. Nothing in this video is sponsored, nothing given to me, but there's lots of ways for you to help, in the video description. Also, if you see the shop icon here on the Wave Oven Recipes YouTube channel, you can use that shop icon to buy the cooker if you want, or other things, and that helps the channel. Also on the channel, there are links to many online stores that you might prefer. You can use those as your jump off points for shopping. That helps the channel. Also, there are things like donations, my cookbook, memberships in the video description as well. Also, you can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. Also, there are free ways to help the channel, and a new one that YouTube is offering is called a hype button. If you're watching this on your mobile device in the YouTube mobile app, it's currently not available in other options, but in the mobile app and you watch the video, you might see a hype button just underneath the video itself. If you press that hype button, it helps the channel a whole lot if you do that within the first 7 days of a video release. And so there's also other free ways that you can help, such as giving this video a thumbs up, sharing the video with a friend, leaving comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.